Yeah.
It has been a long time coming, but the three heroes finally managed to catch up to Francis, captor of Tippy and apparent owner of the next pure heart that they kind of need to save the ever-loving world. Now, I'm gonna tackle the elephant in the room right out of the gate here. No, I don't think that Francis's character design and writing is offensive to the nerd community. The reason is that Francis is written to be an extreme version of a nerd and not treated as a standard all nerds are like this straw man. The point is this. As people, we aren't representing every stereotype there is about the groups we are in, but we do represent some of those stereotypes sometimes. But Francis here is literally every stereotype jammed into one character. It is freaking hilarious, and the dialogue surrounding all of Chapter 3-4 shows that Intelligent did do their homework to pay homage to the stereotypical nerd. Although, to get the most out of it, you have to be aware of these stereotypes, which is going to be more difficult to pull off as video games become more mainstream entertainment. The bits where Francis's castle and nose tells you that Francis has to literally own every bit of merch from his favorite stories, that his first feelings of love were for fictional characters, and that he's an obsessive internet complainer is a playful jibe and a nod to the quintessential serious nerd, and it's an expert level showing of how to use flavor text correctly to up the quality of a video game level. Although there are some things that could have been cut to make 3-4 not feel so long and drawn out. After getting the 2 keys to Francis's quote-unquote lair of photography, and solving the devious riddle of the final gate where you have to enter as Princess Peach to get to see Francis for obvious opie reasons, you get into one of the best uses of design in Super Paper Mario, as Francis is shown to be an obvious social wreck when Princess Peach tries to talk with him, and then he pulls up another homage to dating games in which you can choose to fall for Francis's attempts at romance, or be a more realistic, aggravated character pissed off at the abduction and verbally punches Francis in his lizard face. Once the program explodes for some reason, Francis goes on to the offensive in trying to protect the great Lepidopterous prize that is Tippy. In my humble opinion, the actual boss fight with Francis falls down a bit, since it plays more of the idea that Francis is a chameleon than the whole nerd mystique that has pervaded this entire chapter. Yeah, he summons his cat robots throughout the fight as useless fodder, but most of the time he's monkeying around with his invisibility and trying to attack with his camera flash, which is also a useless attack. Yeah, the major issue with the boss fight is that it isn't memorable as a moment of itself, and the player is more here for the finding dialogue and level than dealing with the boss, since all Francis is objectively doing in this battle is spending around 80% of it unseen and popping up in random locations in a tiny room. He doesn't have a lot of health and can barely deal out damage almost entirely by accident. I suppose it would make plot sense for Francis to be a pathetic fighter, but just like in Jasper Bat Jr.'s case, you can't have what makes the most narrative sense to be a deliberate handicap for the gameplay. Otherwise, you look pretentious as hell. Of course, Intelligent is never going to look like that because Chapter 3-4 is well researched and a barrel of laughs. It's pretty much the Excess Express of Super Paper Mario. That's how good it is.